Hello, hello, Jordan Sheridan live, Status Coup. It is Wednesday, July the 30th, 2025, in the United Corporations of America. It's been a little bit since I've been live. I've been doing, oh boy. Sometimes I wish there was like, you ever see the movie Ed TV? It's when the camera was on the people 24/7. Sometimes I wish there could be a camera on me for 24 hours so you could see everything that goes into Status Coup, because it's quite a lot when I'm off camera. But happy to be back. Just figured we'd have a kind of casual show today. Take your phone calls. So Colin will put up the number, and we want to take as many calls as possible. I'm going to go till about 5, and then I got to go take care of the newborn who just turned 3 months old, my son River. So it has been busy. He's starting to sleep a little more overnight, so that's been lovely. So he's doing well, and my daughter's doing well. And I have been busy off camera. I have been interviewing, thanks to Status Coup viewers, and we're growing, particularly the new members. I've been interviewing to hire a new producer. So that has been taking up a lot of my time because that is a very, very important position that we definitely want to get right. So I have interviewed a bunch of people, and I've gone through at this point probably 15 candidates, having them do samples, kind of like sample edits to see how they would edit certain content and produce the content. Because obviously we want to take things to the next level. We are doing a lot of content on the ground, in studio. We've even done documentaries. But our goal is to reach as many eyeballs as possible. As far as I know, we're one of the only keyword independent outlets out there on the ground as much as we are, covering stories that the mainstream media is ignoring or minimizing, as well as staying on those stories. So, but we've been doing it basically with 3 people for the most part for many years. So a producer will help us get more content out, make the content better, be able to present it better, and, some more bells and whistles. Colin has been doing God's work for many years, but it's very hard as one person to edit and produce up, at this point, 20 or so videos a week. And we have a lot of, we got 2-3 hour live streams. So he doesn't have the time. I don't have the time to go through the whole live stream and find those powerful moments, those powerful interviews, those powerful sound bites, sometimes news. So that's the goal. And I have been going through, in addition to interviewing people, about, at this point, 15 samples. So I asked candidates we sent them two pieces of content for them to edit. So hopefully we will have somebody to introduce to you, I'm hoping in the next week or so, and then hit the ground running. We also want to get back out there on the ground. Alligator Alcatraz is a story we want to stay on. I've been covering it extensively. Ashley's been covering it. Hopefully get back down there, as I did a video earlier today. I don't think it's, I hate to say it, I don't think it's if, I think it's when we have a catastrophe down there and lives are going to be lost. So we want to cover this and help spread the news, spread the awareness, maybe so people could scream out louder about this and shut it down. I don't know if that will happen, but maybe there's a fighting chance to shut it down before a hurricane hits essentially an outdoor tent city. So smash that like button, share this live stream so we can get it out to more people. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see this very live stream. Also, tomorrow, if you are a Status Coup member, we are doing our members call, our monthly members call. Sorry to tell you, I got to do it later because I have a newborn, and I don't want to stick my wife with a newborn and a toddler for 3 hours. So usually we do it 7:30 Eastern time. We're going to start at 8:30 Eastern time. Maybe that'll be better for some people. So a little bit later than we typically do it, but we'll be starting at 8:30 Eastern time. And if you are a paying member, you will get the link to the members call, which is kind of through a similar program to Zoom at 8:30 Eastern. I can't promise I will be fully awake because I have a newborn and a toddler and I'm up early, but I might have whiskey to help me get through it. So if you're a Status Coup member, you'll get the link to your email, or if you're a member through YouTube, you'll get it on the community tab. If you're not a Status Coup member, get with the program, folks. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. I'm doing this for you. Trust me, with a toddler and newborn, it ain't easy at 8:30 Eastern to do a members call, but I'm doing it because you guys power us. So I want to be there for you. So 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night, Status Coup members call. Might have some news for you, some behind the scenes news. So stick with it. Before we get to the calls, there is one story I want to go through. Where is the email I sent you, Colin? That would be helpful. 222. You know, a lot of people are rightly worried about AI. This is the Washington Post story, Colin. A lot of people are rightfully worried about AI because it's going to replace jobs. It is, already there's weird fucking horror stories about people falling in love with their chat GPT, lonely people. Companies are trying to lay off a lot of people. I don't think enough people are paying attention to the fact that possibly within the next year to two, we're going to be a sea of data centers that are already draining our water and poisoning communities all over this country. Let me read this story for the Washington Post. The AI explosion means millions are paying more for electricity. The data centers required for big tech are driving up electricity demands and prices. This summer, across a vast stretch of the eastern United States, monthly home electric bills jumped. In Trenton, New Jersey, the bill for a typical home rose $26. In Philly, it increased about $17. In Pittsburgh, it went up $10. Columbus, $27. Few customers were happy, of course, but even fewer knew exactly why the rates had climbed so quickly. Quote, "I never know why it goes up," said Vicki Miller, a retired secretary in Columbus, "but I could adjust the thermostat to save money. I freeze in the winter and roast in the summer." Also, you could type into Chat GPT and, all this mindless other nonsense. Not that AI doesn't have some good measures, but is the price going to be worth it? Both in jobs lost, because that's a coming, and the price in our water and costs like electrical bills. This time around, though, it is possible to trace the price hikes in these cities to a specific source. The boom in data centers. The boom in data centers, those large warehouses of technology that support artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and other big tech wonders. They consume huge amounts of electricity, and as they proliferate, the surging demands for electricity has driven up prices for millions of people, including residential customers who may not ever use AI or cloud computing. In Columbus, for example, households on the standard plan of the local utility began paying about $20 more a month as of June, or $240 a year, because of the demand from data centers, according to a calculation based on figures from an independent monitor overseeing the region's energy auctions and the local utility. The ranks of the companies building the data centers, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon, include some of the nation's biggest and most prosperous companies, and many affected residents resent having to pay more because of the tech companies' rising electricity demand. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the bottom line is these people's bills, and some of them might be you, these folks' bills, we're talking about $20, $30 now. That's just the beginning, folks. Wait till we see more of these data centers, especially the bigger ones like Elon Musk is building in South Memphis. Another story we want to cover on the ground, quote unquote, the world's largest supercomputer factory that is using gas turbines to help power the data center, which is then poisoning the black community, because it's always black, brown, poor white communities that have to have that all of these, whether it's fracking, mining, now AI, it's built on their backs. I mean, you'll be lucky if your bill goes up $20 once all of these data centers are built. I'm getting emails from people telling me about they're building data centers in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, Ohio, everywhere for AI. So it's not just that AI is going to be replacing jobs. It's that the rates for electricity, because it's an arms race, who could build the biggest data center. And that takes up a lot of electricity. And our electrical grids currently cannot withstand this energy demand. Electrical bills are going to go way up. And as I've covered in the past, they are draining water. They are draining your water. There are communities, Facebook or Meta, they're building a data center. There was a story down in Georgia. People's wells are drying up near that data center. So wait till when there's a water shortage because of the AI boom, your bill's going up for that because you're going to have less water and they are going to price gouge the hell out of you. Remember, shameless plug for my book that came out last year, won 3 awards, shall I add? Just saying. As I said in my book, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that the hedge fund guys in New York and the Wall Street guys, starting in 2020, started trading water as a commodity on the stock exchange, like you trade gold, like you trade gold and other commodities. They're trading it because they know they suspected there's going to be a shortage of water down the line. And that shortage might come sooner. So when I call it the economic Hunger Games, I'm not doing it for effect. I'm not doing it to be cute. I'm telling you, you better get your water now. How you do it, I can't tell you. But you better get your water now because the data center arms race between Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, X, and Twitter, and all these other companies, it's going to skyrocket your water bill. It's going to skyrocket your electrical bills. And might I add, like in the 1970s and 80s, when the EPA was created, like in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, when you had the industrial boom in America, it was all good, but there was no long-term thinking as to the environmental effect. As I covered, perfect example, when I was at the Young Turks, I covered a story in East Chicago, Indiana, about a government housing complex, 99% poor Black people. Literally, this complex was built on top of a lead smelting plant. So no wonder everybody had asthma. Everybody was sick. When I went there, I could barely breathe because the soil had 200 times the level of lead that is allowed. By the way, that's a bullshit number because there should be no lead. There's no acceptable level of lead, just like there's no acceptable level of PFAS in your water or arsenic in your water or chloroform in your water. So the point is, as the industrial boom happened, there was no EPA, there was no regulations. Now there are very few regulations for these data centers. Elon Musk built this data center in South Memphis. Again, we want to go cover that on the ground. Hint, hint, sign up as a paying member to Status Coup, statuscoup.com/join. Elon Musk wants to build this supercomputer factory, or he is building it. They literally don't have permits for it. They don't have permits for it. Memphis, the governor of Tennessee, just gave him the permits. Just let him do it without permits. It just so happens recently, Elon Musk paid it back by pouring in millions to a downtown development project down in Tennessee, i.e. pay for play. And who's the victims? The poor Black folks being poisoned in South Memphis by the gas turbines that are spraying gas all throughout the community. This has been in the news a little bit, not enough. More Perfect Union, a good outlet, went down there. We'd like to go down there. But people refer to the air. It smells like our stove in our kitchen outside because of these gas turbines. So I just want to warn you folks. We've been covering, and I just spoke with Ron Placone the other day. We want to kind of, I guess, give him the AI beat. So he's going to cover AI a lot more for us. Other people could cover the technical part. I'm not going to get into the weeds. I could tell you, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. This is going to, I wasn't a big fan of Andrew Yang's campaign because I thought his version of UBI wasn't enough. But I will tell you, and he was not pro-union or pro-$15 minimum wage, but he was right. The automation revolution is a coming. It ain't coming. It's here. And your jobs are going to be swept under the table, including your water bill, including your electrical bill, and other costs. So we're going to cover this as much as we can. I also want to play this clip. Colin, this is the tweet I sent you. Listen to this tech CEO, Bill McDermott, about trying to paint AI and their slowdown of jobs as a favor to you?
We're slowing down the hiring in jobs that are, quite frankly, soul-crushing jobs. I mean, just think about like IT support. 97% of standard software automatically generated by AI now. And the pressure on supporting function and people has been cut in half. Customer support, 80% of the customer inquiries and cases now are fully managed by agentic AI. And think about security and risk management in real time. All the patchwork and the change management is done by agents now. And the same is true of go-to-market. Think about people that talk to customers. There's no prep work anymore. Their AI teammate is doing that for them at ServiceNow. So the speed of the company has accelerated dramatically. The supporting cast of the soul-crushing work is now being done by agents. They work hard 24/7. You don't have to pay them. And they don't eat any lunch. And they don't have any health care benefits. So they're very affordable. And that really complements our workforce. So we're still hiring, but we're hiring less in those supporting functions. And I suppose that's going to happen to all well-run companies. And I say that because we now need to think about how you run a corporation on ServiceNow, how you change the way you run your business processes. It could be order to cash, procure to pay, hire to retire, design to product. These are all processes that go across functions. And we need to have those 20th century org charts obliterated. We now need to work in teams. Teams need to work across processes, and the agents need to be the best friend to humans. And if we do this right, the GDP of the world will go up, companies will outperform, not just on the OPEX, cost takeout, and productivity, but they will be building new horizons, new business models, and new dreams on the ServiceNow platform, and we're excited.
Putting aside his glasses and cartoon villain look, have you ever heard anything more dystopian in your life? We are going to replace the soul-crushing jobs, and some people like those jobs, and replace them with we'll tell you later. Colin, come on for a second. Am I missing something? Did he fill in there like they're gonna take away the soul-crushing and replace that by fulfilling you with what?
Well, yeah, he literally just said it's going to be great because we're going to get rid of all this, unserviceable or job people don't like. And by the end, the only thing he was talking about was company profit and company expansion. He wasn't talking about like better workforce. And I love that the pro he pointed out, like the thing he emphasized was, hey, you don't have to worry about those pesky lunches and pesky health benefits you got to pay for. And they get to work 24/7 without being tired, like basically saying, almost showing annoyance at the fact that they have to do that for real humans as is.
It's just insane. But hey, the GDP of the world will skyrocket. So whatever that means. I mean, that's just a bullshit term. CNBC loves to use it. Wall Street loves to use it. Doesn't really mean anything because we live in the economic Hunger Games and this is the United Corporations of America. So let's put it together. And I'm about to take your phone calls. Smash that like button. We have essentially the president of the United States, who I think is, at this point, the jury's out. He's on the Epstein list. What he's covering up, I don't know, but it can't be good. And it is Donald Trump. We have the president of the United States pretty quickly after he got elected, handed the government over and the keys to the government to the world's richest man who bought him off and helped him get elected. That would be Elon Musk. Elon Musk and his Doge doofuses basically broke in. Well, not broke in because they were handed the keys, but if it were you and me, we'd be arrested. Broke in, got Social Security data, other private data that's supposed to be confidential, including medical records, might I add, to all Americans. And now he's out. At the same time, ICE and Peter Thiel's Palantir, Trump's administration gave Palantir, which is the premier spy company on earth, who helped the NSA illegally surveil on all of you. They gave them massive contracts to create a centralized database to store all our information to spy on us. And they're being open about it. I mean, they're not hiding it per se unlike what happened under Obama with the NSA, which Snowden obviously blew the whistle on. But now ICE is essentially getting all of your data into a centralized data, but not just ICE. Other government agencies will have your data, and let's not pretend that when the Democrats take back over, if and when that happens, they're just going to say, "Oh no, we don't want any of this. Do away." Democrats are nicer, surveillance actors. So the bottom line is we have a centralized database here. We have, honestly, at this point, the budget for ICE is more than a lot of countries' militaries. They're building ICE Gestapo camps surrounded by alligators that we've been covering extensively. And they want to build similar alligator Alcatraz in forests surrounded by bears, we're hearing about in some Republican states. Other similar settings with alligators and other wild species. Oh, by the way, they're also pouring in money and handing money over to essentially all of the big tech companies that purchased the government and bought up the government to basically replace your jobs with AI in the name of GDP, curing cancer, all, advancement in technology. AI will do some good things. But from what I could tell, all I keep reading about is, we're going to AI to diagnose medical conditions. Yeah, we'll go ask the people being screwed by United Healthcare how that's working out at a 90% error rate. They're using AI. I think what I'm painting, folks, is even worse than George Orwell predicted in 1984. And I got news for you. I know we all want Trump out. I know the house is on fire. I don't think the Democrats are the answer to fix these problems either. Because right now, the government, Democrats and Republicans, they are basically allowing big tech to write the rules on AI. The government doesn't understand AI, just like they didn't understand crypto. All they cared about was how much money are the crypto companies going to give us to pay us off. Same thing with the AI companies. Good luck. Remember, smash that like button, share this live stream. Reminder, tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern is our monthly members call. So please sign up as a paying member. StatusCoup.com/join. We got a lot of things that we want to do over the next few weeks and months, including going back to Alligator Alcatraz. John and Ashley were just out yesterday. By the way, we had to buy a new camera, which cost us $4,000 to go out there. Our old camera, not only was it old, but it also was overheating. So we had, because of the heat, because the planet is burning. So while John and Ashley were live yesterday, the camera overheated and it went down. So John just ordered a new camera, cost us over $4,000. So money don't grow on trees. We don't have any funding from United Healthcare, Amazon, Elon Musk, or any of the other fuckers. Our funding comes from you. So not only do we want to get back to Alligator Alcatraz, we're talking about going to Memphis to cover this big Elon Musk supercomputer factory poisoning the community. A couple other stories we want to follow up on, including East Palestine. Need your help. StatusCoup.com/join for as low as $5 a month. That's 16 cents a day. All right. Let me take your calls here. Please, call in. Don't be shy. We'll talk about whatever you want. Let me share my screen. Oh, super chats are welcome. Super chats are welcome as well. So we always appreciate that. Yes, $4,000 for a camera. An extra $1,600 it was to get an internal fan so it doesn't overheat. So it's crazy. I don't know about you, but on the East Coast here, it's like over 100 degrees with humidity. So it's bad. It's bad. All right, let's see what we got here. Anybody calling in yet? Don't be shy, or else I'll have to start doing karaoke on my own. Feel free to call in. All right, I see a call from, is that Tyler? You're up. Hey there.
My name's Tyler Brown. I was calling to talk about the Cyberverse, like Mastodon, Lemmy as an alternative to Reddit, alternatives to corporate social media, and just a general call about trying to raise awareness and wondering if you guys are active on those
Tell
alternative social
people,
networks.
tell people who don't know what you're talking. I mean, people know Reddit, but the other ones.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tell people what they are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to call. Like, I think I've been active. So the general idea, I use the word Fediverse, like FEDIVERSE, for federated like universe. Because the idea of these concepts, alternatives to like Twitter, and alternatives to things like Reddit, are that there's no single company behind them that owns control. It's the idea of developing a software that somebody can run, start a community on, and it can provide a non-monetized space to provide places like that are Reddit that are super useful for different hobbies and things. And it's happening. I just think it's really cool. And I see some people on like Mastodon, which is an alternative to Twitter, that are on the left, that are leftist voices, but I still think it's kind of an underutilized new horizon where you can take over your control. It's a bit like, I feel like we're at a place of like, we're in printing of books where the only places you could get books were like paid for bookstores. And so these starting to propose like libraries, and it's still a kind of a new radical idea to have like a rotating, shared body. And we're still kind of at that point where it's too radical to even,
Listen,
not too radical, just too new.
I've been saying for years, and I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me, even though I'm not a big fan of the hand. I've been saying for years, there's got to be some fucking brilliant, like, even though Steve Jobs wasn't the engineer per se, there's got to be like a Steve Jobs of the left or somebody who could create an alternative to YouTube and go down the list, Twitter, Facebook, because at the end of the day, like, we're being strangled by algorithmic manipulation. Like, I say this humbly.
Right.
I say this humbly because I'm not that full of myself, but I believe if it wasn't for the algorithmic manipulation on YouTube, which is just Google, Google owns YouTube and runs it. Twitter, Facebook, I think outlets like Status Coup would blow up. I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been documented literally, right? I mean, like, I think your show and other shows have really like literally just been like, yeah, we can see when they changed the algorithm and when like the natural growth from your show getting recommended just went away. It's not even like it just happened, right?
I mean, I was just talking to Colin the other day. It's like, you expect, we have like booms and busts where we're on a boom, whether it's when we first started covering the Luigi Mangione story or the Alligator Alcatraz story more recently, where it's blowing up and every video is blowing up and you don't expect it to stay that hot. But then sometimes it's almost like there was like a switch pulled where it goes from like every video is averaging like 15, 20,000, which is good for us, to like, what the fuck just happened? Like, all of a sudden we're getting like 2,000 views. Interest didn't drop down that quickly. It's that we're not being recommended as much. And YouTube is basically just moving off the topic. So whether it's
or they're being, I mean, the service, like a lot of these companies are struggling to find markets for their products like AI. Sure. And one of the most durable services, I think, is to sell the capacity to manipulate people. Exactly. And like, I think it makes perfect sense that like one of the most durable like revenue streams for something like YouTube is to say they're like, hey, like the powers of being come say, and like make sure that Status Cou's reporting about Flint doesn't like just show up on random people's feeds. Like, we got to get people to stop talking about this, like that's a direct incentive. Exactly. And I think there's a lot of people that are like in your position, they're trying to make successful alternative news and want to be on YouTube and have to be to get the views out. But there are alternative platforms, like the alternative to YouTube is called PeerTube. And it's up. I mean, there's not a lot of people on it. Like, it's not maybe a near-term solution, but those solutions are out there. The software actually exists. And I think it's further along than a lot of leftists and a lot of leftists like political voices online think. Is all. This is like what the point of my call is. So it's like, check it out. Like, Mastodon as an alternative to Twitter is really cool because there doesn't need a company behind it. There's no ads on it. There's no algorithmic feed unless you wanted to apply one.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think the other,
so I'm just trying to argue it. I think we're all really burned out from social media, right?
Well,
like we're all like, there's nothing hopeful about it. But
I think the other thing is, and I'm certainly not an expert, but part of the issue is how you get the word out, because
right,
bottom line is, like, Google controls the world. So there have been, like,
exactly,
there has been quick, like Mastodon. There's been alternatives to YouTube. What was the one, or that they tried? Colin, what was the one that was crypto? Rockfin, Mastodon, a couple other ones. And it's like, really, the best you could do is word of mouth, because they don't show up. Like in, you type it in, it's even hard to find on Google. You know what I mean? So until we.
But I think if I'm going to argue sorry, I just want to argue, like, to someone in your position, like someone from my position who I've been on the Fediverse. Like I've used Mastodon for like 6 years or something. I've been on, like, I'm mostly on Lemmy now, which is like a Reddit alternative, because I like the Reddit style. But I don't like I hate Reddit as a company, obviously, and the Reddit itself can be toxic, and is again encouraged to be toxic because of, like, who owns it. But my argument to you is, like, one of the things you might think about is, like, if you're on, like, Mastodon as a Twitter alternative, it provides you a place that you can link to for your articles and posts that's, like, outside of like it's almost like you can link to your Twitter post that's summarizing your links, but instead of it being Twitter, it's a website that does not require people to log in to see your links, and it's very clean and there's no ads on it. There's ways I think it's valuable that maybe, like, just because it's not the place where everybody is, I think doesn't mean that there isn't a power to it.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
Especially to sort of practically threaten companies like Google into making YouTube less toxic. Because if there's more left, it's like, okay, like, it's going to be a slow process, but we start to think about, like, how we can really, like, get our social media communication off of, like, just being only on corporate siloed for-profit platforms. Like, we can actually build these things ourselves. And I think even just practically doing that will radically change the power dynamic between us and the corporations. Even if, like, Mastodon doesn't grow into, like, 30 million people overnight, I don't think that's the point. I think it's the credible threat of us, or, like, progressives, like, starting to be like, all right, we don't necessarily need you.
Right.
We make you valuable.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to rant, but
I'll definitely give it some thought. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day. I love your show. Thank you guys for what you do, and especially your underground reporting is really awesome.
No problem, man. Take care. And before I take the next call, remember, if you came late, tomorrow night, monthly members call a little bit later, because I got to help the wife put down the newborn and the toddler.
Okay.
8:30 Eastern time. Members call tomorrow night, 5:30 Pacific.
Okay.
So if you are a Status Coup member, statuscoup.com/join. You will get an email through the website to join. It's a video call similar to Zoom, not the same program, but similar. If you're on YouTube, you'll get the link through the community page. Patreon, you'll get it through Patreon. And if you have any issues tomorrow, you could email us at info@statuscoup.com. If you're not a member yet, what the hell are you waiting for? statuscoup.com/join. We're starting at 8:30. You'll probably go an hour, because I don't want to go till like 10:30. But we'll have fun. I'll give you a little behind the scenes, what's going on here at Status Coup that the regular public doesn't know, and take your questions, comments, concerns. All right, next person. You're
cool.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're up. I just see vein of the day.
It's the Zainab Day. That's correct.
Hey, what the fuck's wrong with you? I texted you twice. Hey, you want to co-host with me? You don't respond.
I know. I was doing yard work for once. I was out pulling weeds and weed eating and listening to music. And I come back in, and it was like, I saw it at exactly 3:59, and I was like, oh man.
Well, when you say weed eating, are we talking about edibles or more medicinal?
Oh. That's the Appalachian redneck way to say utilizing a weed tool, a weed whacker. I guess weed whacking.
Gotcha. Okay. I was saying for eating weed, you sound pretty lucid right now. Wonderful.
No, unfortunately, I wasn't having that much fun. It was it's pretty hot and terrible out there today.
What's on your mind, Zaina? By the way, we have a video that it's a little late at this point, but we'll drop it this weekend. Zaina did a recap on Hunter Biden's interview, which you might be wondering who cares. There was a lot of interesting, I would say, turning against the establishment, even though he is the establishment from Hunter Biden. So we'll have your video soon. But what's on your mind?
Oh, I was just thinking, when we're talking about, and I wanted to call in because I wasn't sure when people would start dialing, so I wanted to help out and say hello. But I was thinking about the AI replacement of jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a report recently that was printed in Forbes that was from 2024 that said within the next year, 25% of jobs will be, within the next 2 years, 25% of jobs will be replaced with artificial intelligence. And I think we're seeing that happen on the ground, and we're seeing it trickle out. So an article here and an article there for layoffs, right? I mean, we've been covering it. Ashley's covered it some. And I don't think we've seen the full picture of how many jobs have been taken or absorbed by artificial intelligence yet, or by even these, what are they called? These chat bots, basically, these little management bots that they've made. Which are rudimentary AI. They're not even necessarily ready to do this kind of work, but that's where we're at. So I think that we're looking at the 2016 election coming up, and I was having the thought that these candidates are going to have to run on something. Federal Jobs Guarantee, UBI. By the time that 2026 rolls around, I think we're going to have a better look and a better scope at what the heck's going on with mass layoffs across the country, from the governmental jobs that have been cut by Doge to, the automation and to our economy just stagnating. Well, and then you couple that with AI.
Yeah.
We reported recently, remember, that the underemployment rate was 27%.
Yep. Well, don't worry, Zaina. I don't know if you heard, but Trump and his minions, they want to give back to the people. So they're thinking of giving you a $600 check for the tariff revenue. So that $600 check, that'll be in and out the door right away. I think there's another element a lot of people don't realize, but a lot of things you sign up for online, if you read the fine print, which most people don't, you're basically signing away at them using your data, or in this case, like even this platform. If you read the fine print, in the fine print, it says that they could use our content to teach its AI, or, to mold its AI, or however that works.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, most of the things you use online, either directly, without knowing it, you're signing off on them using your data, or using whatever you're doing online to train its AI. And when companies use this language like, oh, no, our workers, we want our workers to learn AI so it'll make their jobs easier. No. They want workers to learn AI so that the AI could basically start cutting workers' hours, or just replacing replacing those workers as much as humanly possible when it is up to snuff and can have can reach the point where they are as smart or smarter than humans, because that's what a capitalist system is. It's how do we squeeze every last dollar out of this worker. And at this point,
that's right.
So problem is with UBI, I agree with the sentiment, but I mean, you're going to need at this point, because we have no fucking regulations at this point on rent. We have no regulations on, there's barely any regulations on monopolies. These big tech companies could do whatever they want. The price gouging, the greedflation and the corporate price gouging, grocery prices still high. I mean, you would need at this point like $3,000-$4,000 a month UBI from the government just to keep up with prices.
I mean, SSI doesn't cover anyone's, Social Security benefits and disability benefits for those on that. That doesn't cover living expenses, not even close to it.
Right.
Already. So
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I agree. I think people need to get ready. Maybe start, if you have the land, create a farm because food's going to be wildly expensive. And by the way, since our fucked up country ties healthcare to your jobs, well, what's going to happen when people start losing their jobs? And it's not just the losing your jobs part, because companies might start slower and just say, hey, you wanted a 32-hour work week? We're going to cut you down to 20 hours. Go spend time with your family. And then you lose your health insurance because you're no longer full-time. And they'll act like they're doing you a favor. So
yeah, they're not going to keep you at your pay rate for
Exactly.
20 hours a week. It's not like they're going to give us a siesta like they have in
yes.
in European and South American countries. I was going to tell you one other thing. You were talking about the and we've talked about this before, the massive AI facilities that are being built or staged to be built across the country by, places like Palantir and by Elon Musk and others. There's another aspect of that. Cryptocurrency has we've already had some similar problems with data mining for cryptocurrency, right? And then for running the centers for cryptocurrency. And one of the things is that there's a secondary arms race. The AI is one. The second is in cryptocurrencies and quote unquote stable coin. And there was an executive order that we covered about, I guess it was 2 months ago. And it was talking about Donald Trump's administration put David Sachs, of all people, as the crypto czar. And at the same time, they did an executive order that backs certain cryptocurrencies that they get to pick and choose with the U.S. Federal Reserve. So they also have an aim to build out cryptocurrency. So not only are we going to see a bunch of AI data centers crop up, taking our water and resources and polluting, we're now going to see that from an insurgence of cryptocurrency that they're promising us will somehow magically save the hegemony of the U.S. dollar and combat BRICS.
Right.
But that's what we're going to see next.
Zaina, God bless you. I love you, but I got to get to other people because I only have 15 minutes left. We'll talk offline. But the great Zaina Day, follow her, Bullhorn Bulletin, her wonderful Substack, and she'll be hosting Status Coup any day now. And by the way, before I get to my next,
have a great day, y'all.
Thank you. Before I get to my next call, a little
breaking news. Breaking news.
We just passed 483,000 subscribers. Holy cow. We are starting to sniff that 500,000 number. So if you are not yet a Status Coup subscriber on YouTube, it's free. Hit the subscribe button and spread the word. I mean, maybe we could get to 500,000 by the end of summer. That's one more month. And by the way, we just hit 200,000 subscribers last August. So if we could hit 500,000 before the end of August, that would be an increase of 300,000 subscribers here on YouTube in just a year. So please support us. Spread the word. Tell your friends, family. I don't care if they're on the left, the right, no labels. Everybody cares. Most people, right or left, care about corruption. Most people care about water. Most people don't want to breathe in or drink toxic water, air, soil. And we cover a lot of those stories. So statuscoup.com/join to support us as a paying member and tell people to subscribe on the channel. We're 17,000 subscribers away now from hitting that 500,000 mark, which is awesome. All right. David, you're up.
Hello. Hello, Jordan.
Hey there.
Oh, yeah. Hi. So I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about the immigration situation. I was wondering what your opinion would be if, even if you're talking about like cities that are supposed to be sanctuary cities that have Democratic mayors, whether it's possible that the local police department maybe secretively. Now, I know you may not want to speculate on things that you can't prove, or that you can't. But I'm just so I work in New Haven, Connecticut, and we've had like around four people have been taken by ICE. First was like a mother of two from Mexico, and the mayor, was at a rally, and he was saying, that we're going to resist ICE. Our city is a city that welcomes immigrants, and so on. And then a second person was taken, again, a mother of two from Ecuador. In this case, the New Haven Police Department had actually arrested this woman for allegedly mistreating a minor, mistreating her kids,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go into the weeds on that, but I mean, the circumstances of the arrest, I think, were kind of sketchy. And then a third person, the person most recently that was taken by ICE was an 18-year-old high school student. And I think there was like an Afghan, an interpreter from Afghanistan that was also taken by ICE.
Mm-hmm.
This is all from New Haven, which is supposed to be a sanctuary city.
Right.
So, like, my feeling is that, yes, the police act at the direction of the mayor, and they follow the policies of the mayor. But I think, a lot of these cops voted for Trump,
Yeah.
And so, like,
well,
I don't know.
Honestly,
it's just one of those things.
At this point, it doesn't matter if it's a sanctuary city, if the mayor, the local politicians are pro-immigrant. The federal government, as we saw in LA, could, for the most part, do whatever it wants, and the courts are allowing the federal government to swarm. I mean, let's face it, mostly blue cities. Trump is, unleashing ICE more so in blue cities to make his point. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see it in Connecticut, New York. It's been speculated that New York is the next LA in terms of them escalating the raids. I would bet you might see more in San Francisco because they want to make this a culture war, and they want to do it in like blue coastal cities to make a point. Even though, honestly, in a lot of these cities, I mean, yes, do immigrants live there? Do undocumented immigrants live there? Sure. I mean, I would argue some of these blue cities, you have less undocumented immigrants than you do in some of these red states, including rural areas that use a lot of undocumented immigrants for farming and other labor like that. So,
yeah.
But, well, did you have a question or?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, do you think it's possible that the local police departments may be sympathetic to what ICE is doing, even if they're in a so-called sanctuary city?
I think yes. I mean, obviously, you can't put a whole broad brush on it, but I do think a lot of the police skew right wing and MAGA. It's been reported that there's a lot of police on their off time that are working for ICE. Now that we are seeing, I just read a story today, they're offering $50,000 signing bonuses to become an ICE agent, which with Trump's big bold bank robbery of a bill, big beautiful bank robbery. ICE is getting more money than a lot of countries' militaries get, which is insane. So you got $50,000 signing bonuses. So you might see a lot of cops. I'm not saying all cops are bigots and hate brown people, but a lot of them are MAGA. A lot of them are conservative. A lot of them buy into the we're putting them up at hotels. The immigrants, by the way, I fucking got into it with my dad the other day. I love him, but he's becoming more fucking MAGA and deranged. He's like, so what do you think of these immigrants and being put up at the Roosevelt Hotel? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first of all, most of that's propaganda. But even if that were true, if certain immigrants were put up at a hotel, that means we should fucking go in and terrorize Home Depots, 7-Elevens, and farms around the country. It's just absurd. But to answer your question, yes, I do think.
I feel you. I have a friend that's a Republican, and
God.
He's-
I mean, if it wasn't my
Yeah.
father, I wouldn't talk to him. But yeah, I do think some of the police are sympathetic. Not some. I think a lot of the police are sympathetic. I think a lot of police potentially want to shift over to that because they see
yeah,
where the budget is going.
the money is.
Right. And also, I think we know some ICE for the quotas that Stephen Miller and Trump want to meet. ICE doesn't have enough people as of now, so some police have been working on their off hours for ICE. So yes, I think police are, even in blue cities, sympathetic, and in some cases working hand in hand.
Okay. All
For
right.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for all you do.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All
All right.
then. Bye.
Let's talk to Ashley. You're up.
Hey, Jordan.
Hey there.
Hey, so my name's Ashley. I am a homeless advocate calling in from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a longtime listener, but a first-time caller reaching out today to talk about something I feel needs more attention, which is the troubling executive order that was issued last week titled Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets,
Oh, boy.
which is a direct attack on unhoused people. There are a lot of concerning things in this order that I encourage people to go look at and read through, but the part I want to speak on now is the piece of it that calls for the forced institutionalization of unhoused people with severe mental illness and or substance use disorders by twisting the standard used for involuntary commitment as it posing a danger to oneself or others if they're unable to provide basic needs for themselves, which is how the order will be used to target unhoused people. Even if they aren't using substances or don't have an unmanageable mental health condition, simply being so poor that it eventually pushes you into homelessness means by default that you could fit that criteria of being a danger to self and society since you are no longer able to provide the basic need of housing for yourself.
And
and
also, who gets to be the arbiter of who can't take care of themselves? The police? Oh,
Or
God.
honestly, I worry that maybe like the ICE Gestapo is going to be part of these sweeps. Like they're just going to start sending homeless people to the gulags, because how else do you think they intend to replace the migrant labor force they're disappearing and deporting right now? Like this order combined with the budget cuts for food and healthcare, the tariffs, the rising cost of housing, and the shit job market that is only going to get worse as AI takes hold of everything. This is only going to increase the number of people that have to live outdoors. Like none of us are safe from this.
And I got news for you. If you think it can't be darker, in that case, private prisons have become big business. Wait till mental health institutions are going to become bigger business if they're moving homeless people to, whatever they're going to call it, but mental health clinics or, inpatient, Trump would call it insane asylums. I wouldn't call it that. But a lot of corporations are going to get in on that because there would be money to be made from for-profit, basically privatizing or expanding inpatient mental health facilities.
Yeah, there's a lot of terrible stuff going on in the world of homeless services that I work in right now that we're really concerned about. So, and there's also a lot, the time limits that they're putting on rental assistance, to cut waste, fraud, and abuse, to reserve it for the elderly and disabled. But that's mostly who we serve. So
right.
Well,
I also,
anyways, I just wanted to.
Thank you for bringing that up. I did hear about it. I just haven't had time to look into it, but I'm going to add that to my list. I will also add, it might seem obvious, but it's 97 degrees right now in New York. Other parts of the country, it's extremely hot. It's getting hotter earlier and staying hotter later around the country. So as people lose their jobs, face eviction, are evicted, you can have all these fucking people sleeping outside in scorching heat. People are going to die from.
Yeah.
People are already fainting down there at Alligator Alcatraz, but it's hot in many parts of the country. Not to mention, people could die during the cold season. So, yes, there's cascading crises, and that's something we definitely should cover. So, thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, and at the same time, while states across the country are banning like public camping and criminalizing homelessness. So it's all coming together now, and my hair's been on fire about it for a while, but I work in a sea of liberals, so.
Absolutely. And I've been to Louisville. It's wonderful, wonderful city,
Yes.
minus
Yes.
the police brutality and corruption. So, yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. All right, Tony D.
Hello, Jordan.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm really glad you're back on. You
Yeah.
took a break there to take care of your kids. I'm glad they're doing better.
I wish I took a break. I've been interviewing and going through producer samples. But yes, I've been spending some time with River and Lily and doing other things, but wanted to come back on today.
Yeah. I'm sure you're always busy. I
Yeah.
just mean you're on the air.
Yes.
You probably didn't see the interview with Crystal Ball and Sandra and Alyssa Slotkin.
I saw some of
I
it.
saw this whole thing yesterday.
Yeah, I saw some of it. I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but boy, she probably regretted doing that after that.
Well, Crystal admitted that Slotkin reached out to them for the interview. And for the first half of it or so, Sandra asked her questions about Epstein, and she just repeatedly changed the subject, claiming that constituents don't care about Epstein because they're trying to make ends meet with rent and taking their kids on vacation, things like that. And I just want to ask you, it's really frustrating seeing her and Pelosi claim that Epstein is a distraction from more important issues, when you would think they would realize how smart it is to mention that the president is involved in the pedophilia ring. I mean, it's a really big mistake not talking about that when they've got him in their files.
Well, the problem if you're a corporatist like Alyssa Slotkin, who's basically like a younger Chuck Schumer with different parts, is yes, politically speaking, the Democrats should be going all in against Trump. It's not just that he's clearly in the files. I mean, listen, is it hard to believe that Donald Trump probably fucked a minor? Maybe he didn't know she was a minor. I mean, that could be possible, or didn't care. Or maybe there's other things in there that aren't pedophilia per se, but other illegal or untoward things with Trump. But the point is, Slotkin and others, they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them because they either directly know or could surmise there's probably a lot of powerful Democrats that would be implicated. Powerful Democrats that are part of the donor network, for which Alyssa Slotkin is already starting to angle herself as some moderate darling for 2028 or whatever she's going for. So I think they want to put their foot on the gas against against Trump when it comes to Epstein. And they should, because I don't know, maybe there's a few things that should be on politics, like children being fucking molested. It's hideous. Yeah. But they're not going to do that because between Bill Clinton to other donor, I mean, there's Democratic celebrities that might be implicated, politicians, there's, high-powered athletes. All sorts of wealthy, magnets that were connected to Epstein, and many we don't know about. And I think the Democratic Party, particularly the ones in office, kind of want to be careful about, if they could just release anything linked to Trump, they'd be doing it. But they know, well, they might be releasing things that don't look good on some people in their own state that are influential and powerful, or the wider Democratic Party and donors. So I think that's why they're not going hardcore. But the broader part is, forget Democrats should be all over this, because Donald Trump, he hoodwinked people by saying we're going to drain the swamp. I mean, this is the swamp. Epstein is the giant swamp. This whole story is the symbol of the swamp, the deep state. I mean, I have a different definition of the deep state than a lot of MAGA people do, but whatever. And now Trump, nothing to see here. So it would be smart and political gold for them to go after it, but they're not going to do it because they know that some of the influential old-timey Dems will be implicated, and they don't want to do that. And by the way, I'm so sick of these fucking Alyssa Slotkins and Pete Buttigieg's and these people. They're trying to go out there and poo-poo, Zoran, what works in New York might not work in Michigan. or saying
did
like,
say that,
well,
yeah.
he just did catchy videos and he went everywhere. We just need to go on more podcasts. No. It's not that you just need to go on more podcasts. It's not that you just need to talk more authentic. You need to fucking feed the starving masses. Zoran was popular because he was offering very clear, popular policies that actually would be popular in Michigan, would be popular across the country. It's just that their donors, from Buttigieg to Slack and the rest, don't want to open up that Pandora's box of offering, material help and the welfare state to Americans. So they want to basically gaslight and manipulate you to think, oh no, it's just because he was charming or he went on all the shows or had catchy social media videos. No, it's not. It's because he's offering real help and to tilt the playing field back towards the workers. So I'm just sick of these fucking. They're not even moderate. They're extremists. I wish Bernie, in all his campaigns, would have called them radical more often. Called Biden the real radical. Called Hillary the real radical. Because these policies are popular, and that's why they want to minimize it and say, "Oh no, Zoran, he's just charming and knew how to go viral." So,
Do you think Zoran has a great chance to win?
I'm feeling more optimistic about it because I think Andrew Cuomo is less popular than Lice, and I think Eric Adams, whatever, is less popular than that. I think the only chance they would have to defeat him is if one of them drops out because they're going to kind of take away from each other. Never say never because it's the Democratic Party and they could throw all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And trust me, they're going through everything with Zoran to try and find some scandal. But I think at this point, unless one of them drops out and it's just Zoran first, one of them head to head, and even then, I'm not sure they could beat him at this point because he's doing all the right things. He's doing all the right things. He's still out there campaigning just as hard. So I'm feeling optimistic, but I wouldn't put the cart before the horse.
Right.
And by the way, I think people need to realize, and I did a story on this. People need to. You can't let your foot off the gas. Step one is electing him. Sometimes progressives, are euphoric when we elect them. No. Then it's actually fucking like a pressure campaign to hold his feet to the fire. We don't need any more AOCs here that say we're going to bring the ruckus to the Democratic Party. They get in, they do one good thing. Her first day, she, protested outside Pelosi's office with the Sunrise Kids. And then she started playing inside baseball ball. She's not all bad, but she's certainly not what she advertised herself as. So, I like Zoran, but we can't make the same mistake of putting these elevating these people like they walk on water. Elect him and then keep his foot to the fire to actually fight. It's not realistic that he's going to get everything through because he's up against the New York governor. The governor of New York would have to approve corporate tax hikes, taxes on the wealthy. He'll be up against Wall Street. He'll be up against the real estate developers. He's going to need those volunteers and people who voted for him to basically be his army, political army, to get these things done. He's not going to be able to do it on his own, but you're going to have to pressure him to do it. I'm not saying all politicians are the same, but most of them, are flexible as the wind goes. So step one is electing him. Then you got to keep his feet to the fire and then help him fighting to win these policies. Because if you can show not only a progressive policy is popular, but you could elect progressives and they could actually get things done for the people, that could spread. And then you could elect more progressives. So that's the goal.
That's what I worry about, that the governor is going to meddle and really work with him.
Well, the governor, if the governor, what did Bernie say when he got elected? Or, excuse me, when he was trying to get elected? No, I'm not going to first negotiate. I got to first negotiate with Mitch McConnell. I'm going to tell him to look out the window at my army of supporters, and we're going to fucking vote you out.
Yeah.
So Zoran has to he can't be first trying to compromise with Hochul and, neoliberal Democrats at the New York City Council. He's got to organize and galvanize his troops to put pressure on them. That's the only way. So.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
Absolutely. All right, folks. I have to cut it short because I got to go take over with the newborn. But thank you for watching. Reminder, tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern. 8:30 Eastern will be our monthly members call. I think we'll probably do a live stream before then. If not, we'll remind you. So I hope as many members can make it tomorrow night. Colin, if you could come on and tell them, remind them how they get the link and all that.
Yeah, if you're a member on our website through StatusCoup.com, just you'll get a link in your email. If you don't receive it by the time this thing is starting, then just check your spam, make sure it didn't go in there. And then for our YouTube, check the community tab, and same thing for Patreon. And to check the community tab, and Substack is email as well. If you have any issues or questions about any of that, just email info@statuscoup.com.
Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. We will have more content either tonight or tomorrow. We have more videos to show you from Alligator Alcatraz. We have a protest that John and Ashley covered yesterday for Gaza, and a couple other stories. Please, again, one more time. If you're not supporting us yet as a paying member, we need to grow to be able to stay on the ground. There's very few outlets doing the work we're doing, particularly on the ground. StatusCoup.com/join. See you tomorrow.